Guys ready to do a pre-hike breakfast?
Oh yeah. Food looks delicious.
It does. This is the flagship REI in Seattle. Wow. This place is cool. Entrance is this way. And yeah, there's a waterfall here. A big one. Wow. Oh man, if you haven't realized already, we are in the great state of Washington. Never been here before. So we are starting out at the Packwood Lake trailhead, and we are making our way around one of the loops. We haven't decided yet, but into Goat Rocks Wilderness is the plan. And here today with me, I have Karate Josh, Brandon, and Hallie. You all remember them probably from the Virginia video where we just did the Triple Crown there, but it's pretty amazing here already so far. We've had a lot of fun. We kind of flew up last night. Kind of had a lot of fun already hanging out in Seattle, and then drove up the 2.5 hours. Drove down the 2.5 hours to Packwood Lake trailhead. It's pretty big trailhead, so that's kind of nice. Lots of cars here. But I don't know how far people are going to go into Goat Rocks Wilderness, or if most of them are just going around the lake. So here we go. Off into the forest again. Just one that's the furthest west I've ever been. That's pretty.
Little salamander type thing. Hey, there's a snake right there. Little rattlesnake.
Charge it. Wow, look at this guy living up in the lap of luxury. So he's making a protein shake with peanut butter too, right? You gonna add peanut butter?
Peanut butter and vanilla. Vanilla fried.
So we stopped for lunch. You saw us eating lunch, and it was a nice spot. But of course, 2 minutes down the road, we can actually peek and see that bright blue patches. Maybe you can, or maybe you can't. But that's the lake. It's right there. We're just in awe at how green blue this lake is, and we're not even there yet. Yeah, look how pretty this is. I don't know how we don't camp near the lake. Wow. Wow.
With nothing.
Wow. So once we saw the lake, over here is where the bulletin board is and the permits are, because now we're entering the wilderness area and you're required to do like a self-issued permit. So that's what we're gonna do. So we think we found what could be camp for the night. We're not sure. We're setting up and we can make this spot work. It's the lake is over there. We are just outside of the wilderness area for now. So this should be good. We're gonna camp a little bit ways away from there. You're supposed to stay 200 feet away from the lake, I believe. So, in the wilderness area. But this is not a bad spot. A little buggy, not terrible. No fires at all in Washington right now. There's a fire ban, so we won't be having a campfire. Even though this would be kind of a perfect spot for it, we won't. We'll follow the rules.
If I land it, I'll probably sink. I can try it. It's not gonna work. Yeah.
Apparently walked all the way down and then ran back, or you ran?
Both.
Both.
Yeah. It was about 4 miles each way. Well, 5 on the way back, 4 there. So.
But anyway, they ran one of the directions, and they, because this trail eventually veers away from the lake, so they pretty much stayed onto the lake section and didn't find any more campsites that were suitable. There. And I'm over there. I'm going to slide, I'm sure. But I think I'll prop up the end of my pad to stop that from happening. That's Karate's pro trail that he's letting me borrow. And then that's the double rainbow over there, tarp tent, double rainbow. That's Karate's as well.
Some strangers sleeping in it.
Yeah, and we're getting set up here. It's not a bad spot at all. Well, good morning. It's day 2. It's about 6 o'clock. Slept like a rock. Man, even for a tent and the spot that we were at wasn't the best. Kept sliding down. But not bad. Probably gonna get an early start. Well, earlier than normal. And get going today because we didn't do as many miles yesterday. So this morning's just a walk through the woods. We're going to be on the Upper Creek Trail heading south away from Packwood Lake, which is on my right. It's about 7:30 in the morning or thereabouts. And we're going to decide when we finish the Upper Creek Trail whether or not we're going to head toward Out Pass, old snowy mountain area, or loop back up north toward Chimney Rocks. We haven't decided. We'll see what time it is when we get there, and honestly what there is to camp around that Chimney Rocks section, if anything. It's not a bad view at all.
Yeah. Could have camped right here. All 3 of us in a row.
Brandon, and this is a really big tree. Oh man.
Most of these other huge ones are small.
We made it. Look at these guys. They're all over the trail. Some sort of weird green slug. It's a little bit of a tunnel, and it's mostly been in the woods hiking, not very exposed at all. Barely see the sun coming through the canopy. So, I mean, you guys have seen that kind of hiking before, in the deep dark woods. Lots of this along the Upper Creek Trail. You pretty much follow it the entire way. So no lack of water if you want it. So it opened up. We just popped out. And that's the view. Wow. Woo. Very nice. A little bit of a climb. So we're stopping for a pack break. We've been hiking about an hour and some change since our last pack break. So it's a good place as any to take it easy. It's not even 10 o'clock yet. And we're making our way up towards Packwood Saddle, that area, where we're going to decide if we're going to check out Elk Pass or not. So we're back in the woods again, which is actually not my preferred. I actually like the exposed hiking a lot more. It just seems more, I don't know, more Western. But there's a lot of woods hiking on this route. But yeah, it's a pretty forest. Don't get me wrong. I think I like the forest and the woods out here better than Colorado. They don't have as much dead trees, not as much like beetle infestation. And what are your words of wisdom, Brandon? This is your second big backpacking trip. I would call this your first Western one, right?
Yeah.
This is your biggest one.
Big one. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think so far?
It actually hasn't been that bad. This is the most challenging thus far. Yesterday was a super easy day. But the views are really pretty.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to seeing what else there is.
Yeah. That was pretty serious of you.
Huh?
That was a serious answer.
Oh, were you expecting some? Yeah.
I'm not disappointed. I'm just surprised.
Too tired to think.
Here comes the climb. We're kind of in the middle of it. But I think we have about 3,000 feet of elevation to gain. And probably a mile and a half maybe, on the way up to Packwood Saddle.
Mile and a half.
Yeah.
Everything's mile and a half.
Anyone know what these things are? Never seen them in my life. But yeah, it starts off like with a shrub, and that's the flower. Ooh, this slog up the Packwood Saddle, no joke. Switchbacks, kind of buggy, but lots of up. Buggy, like I said. But you can see it's kind of switchbacking all the way up. Some straight up, sometimes we go into a switchback. Thankfully, if this were Colorado, we'd have to be stopping even more, heading up. Oh man, even more going up. Woo! Made it to the intersection, so we're pretty much at Packwood Saddle. That was no joke, I'm tired. I think we're gonna have lunch under the tree here, rest up, get some calories. Man. What's the other trail? Forks off.
Coyote.
Yeah, that's what we were going back on.
And then Upper Lake Street.
Yeah, that's what we came from. We came from Upper Lake. We're gonna head, let me think about the map, north on Coyote. Yeah, the sun is over there. So that'd be east. So yeah, this is our lunch spot. Everyone's finishing up now. I was pretty hungry, so I didn't show you guys, but it was the same as yesterday. I think 2 tortillas. One is a peanut butter and honey tortilla. The other one is a salmon tortilla. And then I had some beef jerky because my body was like, give me protein, crying out for it. So we're gonna chill here for maybe about an hour. And then we're gonna head over towards Chimney Rock, kind of complete that smaller loop. We're not sure about camp. We'll see. Just because we don't know if that whole area, that ridge is even, has camping spots or what. So we may have to go all the way down to Lost Lake, which may make for a long day, but a good day. And so it'll take us all day to hike to camp, I'm sure, unless we find something on the ridge, which I am not holding out hope for. Well, I am holding out hope, but not holding my breath. Just started this trail, and the views around are not disappointing at all. Now this is the exposed hiking I was talking about. Whew, keeps getting better and better. Trail goes there, best I can see.
Huh, that's so pretty.
The wind noise is pretty crazy for this section, but look at this 360 view. And we had views like that along the ridge pretty much the entire way. Probably some of the best exposed hiking I've done. We dropped down a little bit. We're kind of climbing up and down, up and down. A little less exposed, but still out there. It's deceptive because we don't have a whole lot of overall gain on this section, but there is a lot of up and down. So you have to look at the topo map to get an idea. Wow. That's what you're looking at as you hike. Pretty darn good. So just off the trail, there's this rock ledge with a cool view of the mountain range. I think I'm going to try to head up there. So this is the view. Brandon's clambered out here with me. So it's very doable. Relatively safe. There's definitely a path. But yeah, wow. It's like being Hanson's Point in the gorge. How you're surrounded by mountains. Exact same thing. Whew.
What's the haze?
I don't know.
That dust or? Wow. So I should probably take some pictures.
So at this point, we've been exposed hiking since Packwood Saddle, and there's a lot of sections of trail that's just like this. Fortunately, we didn't run across any snow as yet, but loose rock, and you're hiking like this, you'll see Brandon slip here in a minute. It could have been bad, but thankfully it was not. There he almost goes, but you had to be really careful with how you're walking. We also saw a ton of wildflowers. You may have noticed by now. I've been kind of interspersing it in the video. I kind of lost count and just started trying to video whatever I could. And this odd one I pointed out before was there along most of the hike at this time. And it just kind of covered both sides of the trail, which is kind of cool. So we're walking up, and all of a sudden we kind of get surprised because over on our left is, boom, Mount Rainier in the distance. Whew. That's really cool. And it's funny, but that is Packwood Lake because it's to the west. It's pretty impressive. And mighty Mount Rainier in the background. And what would a Western trip be without a little snow? So we finally reached that intersection.
This way, and then Packwood Lake are these.
Yeah. Which way do we want to go for
So
Lost Lake?
that way would be back to Packwood.
Very short east. And through the trees on the left, you can see Lost Lake, which is where hopefully we'll find a good campsite set up for the night. Oh man, that's a long day. So we've been hiking for half hour shy of 12 hours.
Wow.
11 and a half hours of hiking, 1 hour for lunch. Some breaks in there, about 10 minutes, 5 minutes at a time. But yeah, we're finally at Lost Lake. And so thankfully the campsite is good. And lots of flat spots for us who are now become ground dwellers, I guess. At least for Western trips. We're crashing our tents. It's pretty early, but I'll freely admit that's one of the most exhausting days of hiking I've done. We did a little over 10 miles, but it took us most of the day, at least the daylight hours. And now we're going to crash. We're talking about going to Packwood Lake tomorrow. And I think we're talking possibly about, instead of doing that, just heading to Seattle. Since our flight the day after is at 6 in the morning, we have to get to the airport and leave our hotel by 3:30 a.m. So we'll see what we end up doing. Keep you guys in the loop. Good morning, good morning. This is Lost Lake, and I think it's our third day, and so we'll be hiking out today is the plan. We just have a smidge over 8 miles to go. This area was awesome. Yesterday's hike was a tough one. It was a hard one, but definitely doable. It just took a lot of time to do that whole loop. And there were spots on that loop where you could camp toward the end, but usually they were taken at this point. Once again, I find myself on a Western trip wishing I had brought my hammock instead of a tent. I guess I'd have to do a little more research before I decide which is which next time, rather than just automatically saying tent. Because I think the last two have been good hammock camping spots. But I'm gonna get some breakfast, brush my teeth, and get going for the day. Time to filter some water. And yeah, the bugs are bad this morning. So we bolted down there. We're back at the intersection, so we're gonna take a Packwood Lake. Head this way. I think it's 1 mile to the next intersection. So the trail down from Lost Lake was kind of like this. Actually, we flew past that 0.4 miles, of course. This mile is taking a little longer just because it is not now, but most of it's actually pretty overgrown. So branches slapping you in your face and having to push through wet grass. But we're making pretty good time and feeling pretty good today. I feel like today finally got caught up on sleep and jet lag and everything else going on. And I will say, these are the best 2 nights ground sleeping I've ever had. Oh, I'm sticking my trekking pole away. But we're coming up on the intersection close to Mosquito Lake is what I'm thinking. And then we have another 2.2 to Packwood. So we're back down towards Packwood Lake. Still pretty as ever. Looping around. It was kind of cool to see it from up where we were on that ridge. Now we're heading down. Whew. So we're here at the intersection. If you remember the first day, we chose to go on the upper creek trail, Coyote Trail. And now we're kind of coming back from the other kind of higher trail. So this is where the loop kind of meets, I guess. But it's still pretty. I think Brandon's walking out there on that log. Yep. Taking in the view. These shoes are about toast. These are 3 seasons, but 2020 doesn't really count because I only did 1, maybe 2 trips that year because obvious reasons. So yeah, starting to get there's a hole right there in that fabric. Starting to separate right there. And then, let's see, some separation there. And there. So it's starting to pull apart. So these are probably gonna be done. Tread is starting to wear out a little bit. And yeah, it's been good to me, shoes. So I'm just gonna go to the Solomon Speed Cross 5s, I think they're on now. But yeah, we're just chilling here for now. This is before the climb out of Packwood Lake. I think there's a small climb and then it's pretty much gradual downhill. But man, I'm glad we camped around this lake. It's just pretty. So we're hoofing it to the car. We're almost there. So I think we'll probably go eat. I am starving. So thanks for joining me in this one, guys. As always, it's been a pleasure. Peace.
Because like, isn't this like, and I could tell everyone looked at me like I was like dumb. So I guess this closes at 7.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Was it like 9?
Grab space.
Oh my gosh. That's the freakiest feeling.
This is our blue elevator, which looks north out across Queen Anne Hill, which is one of Seattle's oldest residential communities. The large building you see on top of the hill is the old Queen Anne High School that was built back in 1909 and is now luxury condos as of 1983. To the right of Queen Anne Hill, you can see Lake Union, that is a freshwater lake, home to a large houseboat community, including the one from Sleepless in Seattle, as well as seaplanes take off and land there all the time. Downstairs, there's restrooms to your right, digital photos to your left, and monorail straight ahead. Thanks for coming and have a great day.
There we go. There's our area.
Jeez.
That's so cool.
That is high up.
Sure. Who's over there? Get that picture.
Oh my gosh, there's so much food here.